Welcome back to Monetary Pulse. This is part 2 of our series on the 20 silent wealth killers. In part 1, we covered the 10 behavior mistakes, the daily habits and psychology that quietly drain your bank account. If you have not watched part 1 yet, the link is in the description and on the card above. Watch that one first. Today, we are going bigger. These are the strategic mistakes, the decisions around debt, investing, insurance, home buying, taxes, and long-term planning that can cost you lakhs, sometimes crores of rupees, over your lifetime. These mistakes are sneakier because they do not feel like mistakes at the time. They feel responsible. They feel smart. But the math tells a completely different story. Let us get into it. Mistake 11. No emergency fund. Let us start with the foundation of all financial safety, the emergency fund. Life is unpredictable. Your phone screen cracks. Your father needs surgery. Your company lays off 200 people in one quarter. Without a cash cushion, one bad month can derail your entire financial life and force you into the one thing we covered in part 1, high-interest debt. A recent survey showed that 65% of Indians live paycheck to paycheck. No emergency savings. No safety net. One missed salary away from a crisis. The standard advice from financial planners is to build an emergency fund equal to 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. So if your bare minimum monthly cost is 40,000 Indian rupees, rent, bills, groceries, EMIs, your target emergency fund is 1.2 Indian rupees lakh to 2.4 Indian rupees lakh. But here is what nobody tells you. Do not aim for 6 months on day 1. Start with 1 month. That is 40,000 Indian rupees. Then 2 months. Then 3. Small milestones beat no milestones. The fix: open a separate high-yield savings account or liquid mutual fund specifically for emergencies. Label it Do Not Touch. Auto-transfer 10% of your salary into it every payday until it reaches 1 month of expenses. Then keep building. Mistake 12. Problematic debt repayment strategy. When you have multiple debts, credit card, personal loan, car loan, BNPL, maybe an old education loan, you face a critical question. Which one do you pay off first? Most people just pay the minimum on everything and hope for the best. That is the slowest possible way to get out of debt. There are 2 proven strategies. Pick the one that matches your personality. Strategy 1. The debt avalanche. List all your debts from highest interest rate to lowest. Attack the highest one with every extra rupee you have while paying minimums on the rest. This is mathematically the fastest and cheapest method. Strategy 2. The debt snowball. List all your debts from smallest balance to largest. Pay off the smallest one completely first, then roll that payment into the next one. This is psychologically the most motivating because you get quick wins. Research from Harvard Business School found that people who used the snowball method were more likely to pay off all their debt completely, because motivation beats math when you are exhausted. The fix: choose the strategy you will actually stick with. Either works. The worst strategy is the one you do not follow. Mistake 13. Ignoring insurance. This is the mistake that does not hurt you until it destroys you completely. A single medical emergency in a private hospital in India can cost anywhere from 3 Indian rupees lakh to 25 Indian rupees lakh, depending on the treatment. One ICU stay can wipe out decades of savings in a week. And yet, a 2023 report showed that over 60% of urban Indian households are either uninsured or underinsured. People who earn well, save well, invest well, but have nothing protecting them from a single black swan event. You need 2 types of insurance. Health insurance for you and your family. Even if your employer provides a group policy, it is usually not enough. Get a personal family floater of at least 10 Indian rupees to 25 Indian rupees lakh. Term life insurance if you have dependents. A 1 Indian rupee crore term plan costs as little as 12,000 Indian rupees to 15,000 Indian rupees per year for a 30-year-old. Insurance is not an investment. It is protection. Do not buy endowment plans, ULIPs, or money-back policies. They give poor returns and low coverage. Buy pure term insurance. Invest the rest in index funds. The fix: this week, check your health insurance coverage. If you have dependents, get a term plan. The peace of mind alone is worth it. Mistake 14. Waiting too long to invest. This is the single most expensive mistake on this entire list. Every year you delay investing is a year of compound interest you can never get back. Time in the market beats timing the market every single time. Let me give you a real example. Meet Janet and Mike. Janet invests 1 Indian rupee lakh at age 25 and stops. She does not add another rupee. By age 65, her money has grown to 21.5 Indian rupees lakh, assuming 10% annual returns. Mike waits until age 35 to start. He invests 1 Indian rupee lakh every year for 30 years, a total of 30 Indian rupees lakh of his own money. By age 65, he has 68 Indian rupees lakh. Janet invested 1/10 of what Mike invested. She ended up with almost a third of his final amount, with zero additional effort after that first deposit. The difference? 10 years of compounding. Albert Einstein reportedly called compound interest the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it, earns it. He who does not, pays it. The fix: open a SIP in an index fund like Nifty 50 or Sensex this week. Start with 500 Indian rupees if that is all you can afford. The amount does not matter. The starting does. Mistake 15. Not using tax-advantaged accounts. If you are paying taxes and you are not using every tax-advantaged account available to you, you are handing free money back to the government. In India, that means PPF for long-term, tax-free savings, Section 80C benefit, completely tax-free withdrawals after 15 years. NPS for retirement, additional 50,000 Indian rupees deduction under Section 80CCD 1B. ELSS mutual funds for equity exposure with tax benefits. Health insurance premiums under Section 80D. Home loan principal repayment under Section 80C. HRA exemption if you are paying rent. In the U.S., that means 401k match, free money from your employer, Roth IRA, and HSA accounts if you have a high-deductible health plan. In the UK, that means stocks and shares ISA and SIPs. Most people use less than 40% of the tax benefits available to them. They leave thousands, sometimes lakhs, of rupees on the table every year, simply because they never bothered to learn the rules. The fix: spend 1 weekend learning the tax-saving options in your country. Use a free tax filing platform. The savings often exceed a full month's salary. Mistake 16. Overspending on your car. Transportation is one of the biggest wealth drainers in modern life. The average Indian household spends between 15% and 20% of their annual income on their car, EMI, fuel, insurance, maintenance, parking, tolls. For someone earning 10 Indian rupees lakh a year, that is 1.5 Indian rupees lakh to 2 Indian rupees lakh. Gone forever. Every single year. A car is not an asset. The moment you drive it off the showroom, it loses 10 to 15% of its value. By year 3, it is worth 50% of what you paid. By year 7, it is worth almost nothing. And yet people treat car purchases emotionally. They want the upgrade. They want to impress neighbors. They want the SUV because it feels safer. Here is a simple rule called the 24-10 rule. Put at least 20% down payment. Limit the loan to 4 years or less. Keep total monthly car costs, EMI, insurance, fuel, maintenance, under 10% of your monthly take-home salary. If a car payment pushes your total transportation cost above 10%, you cannot afford that car, no matter what the salesman tells you. The fix: buy a car that is 2 to 3 years old, not new. Depreciation has already happened. Someone else paid for it. Get the same model for 30 to 40% less. Mistake 17. Wrong rent versus buy decision. This is one of the most emotional financial decisions people make, and they almost always get it wrong. The myth: renting is throwing money away. Buying is always better. The reality: buying a home is not always the smarter choice. In fact, in many Indian cities, Bangalore, Mumbai, Gurgaon, renting and investing, the difference has historically outperformed buying over 10 and 20-year periods. Why? Because buying involves massive hidden costs. Stamp duty and registration, 5 to 8% of property value. GST on under-construction properties. Illegal fees and broker commissions. Maintenance. Budget 1% of property value per year. Property tax, recurring, forever. Society charges, repairs, renovation every few years. On a 50 Indian rupees lakh flat, these costs easily add up to 10 Indian rupees to 15 Indian rupees lakh extra that most buyers never account for. Meanwhile, if you took that same 15 Indian rupees lakh down payment and invested it in an index fund averaging 12% returns, it could grow to 90 Indian rupees lakh in 20 years. Your down payment, sitting in the stock market, would outperform your flat's appreciation in many Indian cities. The fix: do not buy a home because your parents or society says so. Run the actual math. Compare rent plus investment versus EMI plus maintenance plus opportunity cost. Buy only when the numbers clearly favor buying, and when you plan to stay at least 10 years. Mistake 18. Confusing saving with investing. This is a mistake that feels responsible but quietly destroys wealth. You save 5,000 Indian rupees every month in a savings account. After 5 years, you have 3 Indian rupees lakh. You feel proud. You feel safe. But what you do not realize is that your money has shrunk. With 6% inflation, 3 Indian rupees lakh today will only buy what 2.2 Indian rupees lakh bought 5 years ago. Your savings grew, but your purchasing power fell. Saving protects you. Investing grows you. Savings accounts are for emergency funds and short-term goals, under 1 year. That is it. For anything beyond 1 year, down payment, child's education, retirement, you need investments that beat inflation. In India, that historically means equity, through index funds, mutual funds, or stocks. Real estate and gold can play a role, but equity has been the highest returning asset class over any 15-year period in modern history. The fix: keep 3 to 6 months of expenses in a savings account. Everything else goes into investments, SIPs, index funds, PPF, NPS. Do not let inflation eat your future. Mistake 19. No will or estate planning. Nobody under 40 wants to think about this. That is exactly why it makes the list. If you die without a will, your assets get distributed according to your religion and personal law in India, not according to what you would have wanted. That can mean years of court battles, family disputes, and properties locked in legal limbo while your family suffers. In the US and UK, dying without a will means the government decides who gets what. Same problem. A will is a simple legal document that says who gets what when you are gone. It costs 5,000 Indian rupees to 15,000 Indian rupees in India to get one made by a lawyer. For someone with significant assets, it is the cheapest insurance you will ever buy. Estate planning is not just for the rich. If you have a home, investments, a business, or even a life insurance policy, you need a will. The fix: this year, get a basic will made. Nominees on bank accounts and insurance are not enough. They do not override a will, and they often lead to disputes. Talk to a lawyer. Protect your family. Mistake 20. Neglecting skill and income growth. The final mistake is the one nobody talks about in personal finance videos. You can save perfectly. You can invest smartly. You can avoid every trap on this list. But if your income stays flat for 20 years, you will never build serious wealth. The highest ROI investment you can ever make is investing in yourself, your skills, your network, your ability to earn. Research from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis shows that top 20% income earners saw 69% wage growth between 1980 and 2020. Bottom 20% saw only 17%. The gap is not about saving more. It is about earning more. Every percentage point of salary increase is worth more than years of budgeting. A 10% raise is a permanent increase to your wealth-building capacity for the rest of your career. The fix: spend 5% of your income and 5 hours a week on learning and upgrading skills. Take online courses. Attend industry events. Ask for stretch assignments at work. Most importantly, negotiate your salary. Studies show that only 37% of people ever negotiate their first job offer, leaving an average of 3 Indian rupees to 5 Indian rupees lakh on the table every time they switch jobs. OUTRO. And there you have it. The 20 silent wealth killers, 10 behavior mistakes in Part 1, and 10 strategic mistakes here in Part 2. Let me leave you with this. Your income buys your lifestyle. Your net worth buys your freedom. The difference between the two is whether you avoid these mistakes or keep making them. If this series helped you see something you have been doing wrong, do me a favor. Share this video with one person who needs to hear it. That is how this channel grows, through real value, real stories, and real people like you. Subscribe to Monetary Pulse. Drop a comment telling me which mistake you are going to fix first. I read every reply. Until next time, keep your money working harder than you do.